basketball program, he was going to retire. And I love it that Coach Landers said, I don't need to be told when it's time to step down. The Georgia women's basketball program, based on the standard he set, has fallen by the wayside the last couple of years, whether it be due to injury. And again, this year, Shakobia Barbie going down to injury was a hard thing to overcome for the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. He didn't need to be told when it was time to step down. Did it after 36 years, the only coach the Georgia women's program has known until this weekend. Promoting from within when it came to filling in for the newly retired Landers, the Georgia Athletic Department decided to hire 4-year assistant coach, 3-year associate head coach for the Lady Bulldogs under Andy Landers, Joni Crenshaw. And she joins Game On now. Coach, welcome into the show. Happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you for having me.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure. I've been excited all day to get to talk to you. I want to ask you this first. Knowing that the athletic department opened up a nationwide search, knowing that this was a very attractive job, how much confidence does it give you that you're who they picked? I mean, that's got to feel pretty darn good.
It feels great, Katie. Carlin and Greg had a tough job. Georgia is a great job, and thanks to Andy, what he's done for the past 36 years, it's just remarkable when you sit back and look at it. So there were a lot of great candidates, and I knew that a lot of really, really qualified coaches were going to be interested in this job. So for them to have a national search and then at the end of the day come back and say, we want you to be the next coach to lead our program, it's really overwhelming and it's humbling, and I'm excited, very, very excited about the opportunity.
Well, I know a vast Georgia fan base is excited to have you as the new face of the women's basketball program. I loved it that you just said what Andy Landers did at Georgia, and really not just for Georgia women's basketball, but women's basketball as a whole was part of the sport being revolutionized. What do you take away from your time with him?
I said it all day, Katie. Georgia basketball is a people program. He has great players and has had great players over the years, but they're all great people. I've been blessed to meet most of the former players that have played for Coach Landers. They come back and streams all the time, and they're great people. They stay in touch. They are constantly feeding words of encouragement to our current players, and it just shows you the investment they have in the program. And like you said, what Coach did wasn't just for Georgia basketball, but he was the face for women's basketball, along with a few other pioneers for a very, very long time, and that will certainly be missed.
When it comes to being a head coach, and this is coming from somebody who sits behind a mic and talks about you all day, but when it comes to being a head coach, yes, it helps to have been in the ranks. Yes, it helps, but it also helps when you're relating to athletes to have been one yourself. And my word, what a phenomenal one you were, not only in high school in Mississippi, but also in college at Alabama. How has what you did as an athlete helped you as an assistant and will help you now as a head coach?
I've experienced it, and I've experienced it at the same level that these girls are trying to compete and play at now. And I think it just gives me, I'm able to read their body language. I'm able to look at them in the game at times and kind of figure out when they're maybe going through a slump or when they're really excited, and I need to calm them down because they've gotten too high. I just you can almost predict from their freshman year to their senior year some things that are going to happen. It's been pretty consistent throughout the years, and so it just helps give you an easier entry in terms of basketball, recruiting, and then getting them to compete at a very high level.
Speaking of recruiting, you come in with great acumen in that regard at LSU, at Alabama, at Louisiana Tech, revered really for your ability to recruit. It's never been questioned. First order of business as the head coach at the University of Georgia, was it to reach out to recruits?
Absolutely. The first thing I did after I got the job was obviously call my family, and then I met with the current players, and then I immediately reached out to the players that we had signed that will be coming in next year. And then I reached out to a few high school coaches in some cases because with the rules, you aren't allowed to call certain recruits. And so I just reached out to a few high school coaches and let them know what was going to take place and how excited I was and looking forward to seeing them and recruiting their players.
How much of an emphasis are you going to put on keeping the state's top players in-state, making the University of Georgia attractive to them?
It's our number one priority, Katie. There's too much talent. Georgia is such a talent-rich state year after year, and we've got to make it where they don't want to leave. And why should they? Georgia's got the facility, the resources, the support from administration, from President Moorhead is unreal. They should not want to leave to go play anywhere else.
I love it. I absolutely love it. 11 minutes after 7 o'clock, we're continuing our conversation with new women's basketball coach at the University of Georgia, Joni Crenshaw. The irony not lost on me that you were born the year that Andy Landers began the program at the University of Georgia, and what a great honor for you to be able to take over for him and do what we hope is great things with this program in the future. No NCAA tournament for you all this year. Really, that kind of gets swept under the rug just because of what the program has been the last 3 decades. But, Coach, what's it going to take to get Georgia back to the spot where they are in the top 2-3 in the SEC, one of the best women's basketball conferences, if not the best in the nation, and a top 5 seed going into the NCAA tournament? What's it going to take to get back there?
Well, you've got to have good players, and that goes along with having players who are willing to put in the hard work and sacrifice and dedication to do that. That's not easily done. And I think for a long time, we took that for granted because Coach Landers made it look so easy. He just stayed at the top, and he was in the tournament and Elite Eight and Final Fours, and he made it look really easy. But that's a really hard feat, and I think players have to understand that that's what they're signing up for, because it requires sacrifice, it requires discipline and focus and teamwork, and a lot of selflessness on their part to buy into what it is we need to do as a team. So all that starts with getting the right kids in the program, obviously talented kids, and making them understand that we have one goal as a team, and that's what it's going to take.
As a former high school, college athlete, I know that sometimes assistant coaches are the good guys to the head coach's bad guy, right? Somebody's got to be good cop, somebody's got to be bad cop. I don't know if you filled that role as the assistant and then associate head coach at the University of Georgia, but you will be coaching players now in a different way than you have the last 4 years, the last 3 years, the last 2 years, and obviously last year. How do you make that transition? Is it going to be easy with the girls you've got coming back?
Well, since I've been here with Coach Landers, I've done both. I've been bad cop and I've been good cop. So they're used to me being bad cop, and they're used to me being good cop. And I will probably continue that same trend as a head coach. The other thing, Katie, is that, I was really fortunate. Coach Landers gave me a lot of responsibility. 2 years ago, they started a rule where you could practice with your teams in the summer. And he allowed me to have the summer program. So all summer long, the kids heard my voice. It was my show to run. And he just sat back and let me do that. So they're used to hearing my voice. They're used to taking commands from me. They're used to bad cop, used to good cop. So, yes, there will be a different transition, but not as much of a jump as you would normally expect.
Well, there is no doubt why Coach Landers came out in a statement and said that University of Georgia basketball is in great hands. Clearly, it is with you at the helm. I want to wrap up with this, Coach Crenshaw. Just an interesting thing to me, really, because I'm kind of a dork when it comes to sports, especially women's basketball. Your fiance is an assistant coach at South Carolina. How's that going to work out?
He is. You know what? It's worked out really well for us so far. We will get married in August. We've been dating for 2 years, and we don't talk about it. They have a great program at South Carolina, and they obviously did great things this year, and they will continue to do great things. And we don't discuss basketball. We don't discuss our programs. We don't discuss recruits. It's just the respect we have for each other, and it's worked well for us. So we're going to keep that same trend going.
Well, I hope it continues to work out for you, and I want to add this on. When it comes to recruiting, here's hoping that you have the upper hand, even if you all don't talk about it. As a Bulldogs fan, I'll just say, let's hope that you have the upper hand in that regard. Coach Crenshaw, can't wait to see what you do with the University of Georgia program. So excited to have you as the head coach, and again, you come with glowing remarks from everywhere that matters to the University of Georgia fan base. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. I look forward to talking to you again many more times in the future.
Thank you, Katie. Anytime. Absolutely.
Sounds great, Coach. Appreciate you.
Have a good night.